みんな何をやってるんだ？
入場料を支払っているんです。
ああやって毎回金を持っていかれるのか。
ご主人様の移動魔法を使えばお金を払わずに中に入れるのではないですか？
To be honest, I think this was one of my favorite episodes of Harem and Labyrinth of Another World so far. Like, this episode, we got a lot. I always talk about nuts and bolts, but I mean, that's really what we got. We got nuts and bolts for Michio that's kind of setting up and segueing into what's to come. So not only did we get to see that there are, well, we could assume this, but there are other labyrinths in other cities, right? Other cities work a little bit different. We got to be introduced to the Imperial City. We got to be introduced to another place called it was called Curatar, Kudata. I don't know. You guys can help me with my enunciation in the comments. Kudata. But we got introduced to both of these new cities, where are pretty far away from where Michio and Roxanne are currently residing in. And each of those spots required a lot of MP from Michio, which he basically expended all his MP just to kind of travel there. Once he was able to refresh that, though, he was able to travel back. It's just that he had been basically, the moral of this episode, he had been depleting his MP quite a bit. So here's kind of the chain of events that happened. We picked up this episode right where we got left off on last week, dealing with the intruders, the burglars, the bandits that were trying to invade the slave house. We got to see kind of Michio go through the different, not characteristics, the different abilities that he has, different skills that he had, and he decided to test out a self-destruct skill on one of the bandits, and this bandit popped like a balloon. And that almost took away all of Michio's MP, but he learned a valuable lesson in what that means there. Then we finally saw Michio later on in the episode change his job class. He's now a mage class. And he could change these classes at will, whether he wants to be explorer, whether he wants to be a mage caster. He's able to change these things kind of at will, and he was able to kind of really dive into the mage class, where he was able to take on all the second level, take on the second boss, and then work our way into the third floor, where he got to see a lot of kobolds, which are these like kind of like gremlin looking things, where he equated their appearance to similar to human, but really they look like goblins, look like little goblin people. But he was able to kind of test out his abilities there, learn, water wall, magic wall, sand. He was able to learn that he could get the elements and kind of combine the elements and stuff. So a lot more experimentation is going to be coming on from him. But hey, this mage stuff is going to allow him to rely a lot less on Durandal, which is his goal, and his ultimate goal in protecting Roxanne. We also saw him and Roxanne do the deed once again, and he now has a lofty goal in mind, and his lofty goal is essentially finding him and Roxanne a home. That way he can continue to do as many deeds as he wants to without worrying about neighbors. So that's going to be his next ultimate goal. And then we got to see him go into Kudata, where he learned the way that they kind of operate and use their dungeons. So next episode, we're going to get to see them go into a unknown dungeon with unknown monsters. And I'm assuming, I have this feeling in the pit of my stomach that the next episode, we're going to meet the next member of his party. I feel like that, like we're due for that, and I really feel like next episode, whether he meets this person in the dungeon, whether he meets them in the city, I really feel like we're gonna get introduced to the next party member this coming episode. I just feel it in my jellies, and I feel like that's what's gonna happen. Overall, though, I think this episode was really solid. Like I said, it really set up the bones. It really set up the structure for kind of like the things that are going to come out to play, which I think is the next party member. We get to learn a new city. He's going to learn more skills. We're going to be able to see him progress. We're going to see more of that. We're going to see new monsters, probably a new currency type. He's going to be able to get a staff pretty soon, too, that's going to, enhance his mage abilities. And I'm assuming Roxanne will probably learn a new class. Maybe not next episode. This is putting a lot on next episode, but in next episodes, she'll probably learn a new class as well. But I'm very, very interested on who the next party member is going to be. What role are they going to play? What are they bringing to the table? And all that. We did see in his flash forward, the one episode where he had the kid, or we got to see his future child. We did see that another party member in his party was also a slave, so maybe he comes across a slave trade in this town as well. So a lot of different things that could happen, but definitely very interested on what could happen in the future. And this episode, I really enjoyed this episode quite a bit. I thought I was really absorbed in everything that was covered this episode, from the self-destructing to the mage to the abilities, to a new goal, which is the home. I was really absorbed in this episode. I thought this episode was solid 8 out of 10. On an amazing day, 9 out of 10. If there was a little bit more fan service, a little extra time in the inn, maybe it would be a 9 out of 10. But for now, I'm gonna give this one 8 out of 10. So let me know what you guys thought of this episode down in the comments below. As always, I appreciate you guys being here for another week of Harriman Labyrinth of Another World. Interested to see and chat with you guys in the comments. And my friends, I'll see you guys next Wednesday. Peace.